A few summers ago, my best friend Miles and I took a job cleaning out an old estate on the edge of town. We were broke high schoolers looking for gas money and maybe some adventure. The house, with its flaking paint and ivy-choked windows, looked like something from a horror film, but the pay was too good to pass up. On our third day, we found the door to the basement. It had been nailed shut from the inside. Miles was all for prying it open, said it would be the coolest story to tell. I hesitated, but I followed him down once we got it open. The air changed the second we stepped inside. It was heavy, musty, colder than anywhere else in the house. Our flashlights barely cut through the darkness. Then, in the far corner, we saw it, an old wooden trunk, locked tight and covered in claw-like scratches. Miles, being Miles, had a crowbar ready. The lock snapped open with a loud crack. Inside, we found something I wish we hadn't, a child's white dress, yellowed with age, and stained, unmistakably, with dried blood. There was also a locket, half buried in the fabric. I touched it. I swear I heard crying. From that night on, the house stopped feeling abandoned. We'd hear footsteps upstairs while we were in the basement, see doors swing open by themselves. The worst part? The trunk was always closed again the next morning, even when we knew we left it open. We should have walked away then. But we didn't. And that's when things got worse. After the trunk incident, Miles didn't come back to the house. He said it was just too weird. I told him I'd finish the job alone, not because I was brave, but because something about the place felt unfinished. Like it was waiting for me. The day after he quit, I found the locked room at the top of the house. The door wasn't there before, I swear on everything. It had appeared overnight, pale blue with peeling paint, the number 7 etched into the frame. I didn't have a key, but when I touched the doorknob, it creaked open on its own. Inside, everything was covered in a thick layer of dust, but the room was intact. A child's bed. A tiny vanity. Faded wallpaper with dancing bears. It looked frozen in time. And there, on the dresser, sat a music box. Hand-carved. Floral patterns. Just like the locket we'd found. I turned the crank once. The melody was soft. Haunting. It filled the room, echoing off the walls. Then it slowed, like it was being dragged, and stopped completely, mid-note. That's when I heard it. A giggle. Not loud. Not playful. Thin, broken. Like a tape that's been played too many times. I backed out of the room, but the air had changed. The hallway stretched longer than before. The lights flickered. From the corner of my eye, I saw movement, small and white, like a dress, vanishing into the shadows. That night, the music played again. Not from the box, from the walls. From the floor. From the basement. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't leave. I went back to the room the next morning, and found something new on the vanity. A porcelain doll. It wasn't there yesterday. It wore the same dress from the trunk. Its eyes weren't painted. They were glass. Too clear. Too knowing. A name was carved into the stand beneath it. Ella. And suddenly I knew, the trunk wasn't the beginning. It was just the first time she let herself be seen. I left the old estate before graduation. I told myself it was over. Whatever we had disturbed, Ella, the trunk, the music box, the doll, I left it behind. Miles and I stopped talking. He didn't want to hear about it. I didn't blame him. A year later, I moved out of state for college and found a cheap rental on the outskirts of a small town called Ashbridge. It was an old house, wood floors, a wraparound porch, and a faded mailbox with no name. It was perfect. Quiet. Secluded. For the first few days, everything seemed fine. Until the third night. I woke up around 2 a.m. to the sound of creaking floorboards, slow, steady, deliberate. I froze in bed, listening. It wasn't the random groans of an old house. It was footsteps, starting near the attic and moving toward my door. When I checked, the hallway was empty. Then came the missing keys. Lights flickering. The smell of old perfume in the middle of the night. And the feeling that I wasn't alone. I tried to laugh it off, blaming stress, lack of sleep. Until one morning I came downstairs and saw muddy footprints on the floor, small ones, child-sized, leading from the basement door to the edge of my bed. I lived alone. I called the landlord. He said no one had lived in the house for over a decade, and that the attic was sealed years ago. I checked it myself. It was locked, padlocked. But something was moving up there. Then the music started. That same broken lullaby from Ella's room. First soft, then louder each night. It came from the vents, from the basement, even from under my bed. And then, one morning, she was there. Sitting on the stairs. The doll. Same cracked porcelain. Same glass eyes. Same dress. I ran. Drove for hours, hands shaking the entire time. I checked into a motel, too scared to sleep. But I knew deep down, this wasn't about a haunted house anymore. It wasn't just an old spirit tied to a place. It was her. Ella had followed me. The locket. The music box. Maybe even the act of remembering her, it was enough. She didn't belong to the house. She belonged to me now. I don't know what she wants. I don't know what I unleashed. But I know this, some things don't fade. Some memories don't die. And some eyes never stop watching. I didn't know much about Alex when he moved in, just that he needed a place fast, paid 3 months up front, and had this look in his eyes like he hadn't slept in weeks. We shared the downstairs of a cramped student house off campus. I stayed in the back room. He had the front, right by the stairs. We hardly talked. Until the night I found the doll. I was helping clear out the storage closet, old tenants left junk behind, when I saw her. Nestled between textbooks and a broken lamp, a porcelain doll in a blue dress, dusty and chipped, with one glass I cracked straight through. I called out to Alex, half laughing, "Hey, you collect creepy antique toys or something?" He came running. And the second he saw it, he froze. His hands started shaking. He didn't answer me. He just whispered, "That's not mine." That night, the house changed. Doors clicked open by themselves. The lights would dim even when no one touched the switches. I'd wake up to that eerie tune playing from somewhere I couldn't trace. Then came the dreams, not mine, but hers. Of empty rooms and cold basements. Of being locked inside something dark and wooden. Of Alex, standing there, not helping. I confronted him the next day. And that's when he told me everything, about Ella, the house, the locket, the footsteps, the stairway. He thought leaving would stop it. But it only passed her along. "She's not haunting me anymore," he said, voice low. "She's found someone new." I wanted to throw the doll out. Burn it. But something about her. Hazel, I called her. She didn't feel evil. She felt forgotten. Like she just wanted someone to talk to. But Ella never just wanted to be heard. And as the bruises started showing up on my arms, and the whispers grew louder, I realized, she never left. She only changed who she's listening through.